Hey there.
Hey, are we on?
I think we are.
Okay, hey, everybody. Okay, this is Pastor Will and
Jimmy.
with the world famous Will and
Jimmy Show.
except if you're in Nigeria, they could call it the Jim and
Willie Show.
but either way, it's us, and we're here.
We
And
are
we're
here.
glad to be back with you on this beautiful day that the Lord has made, this Wednesday evening, the 11th day of June. Can you believe how quickly the
Time is just flying
it's
by so
gone?
fast.
I mean, it's just going by.
But you
Yeah.
know, when you stay as busy as we are,
Right.
it just goes by.
Well, you know, I sleep. It seemed like the night is like that, and the day is like that, and well, I think Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. I think he was just on the merry-go-round, and it got so fast it just flew off into
I
space.
guess that could happen.
That feels like me some days, don't you?
Some days.
Anyway, how many of you have been bothered by some of the allergies this week?
Yeah.
That's what's wrong with me. Scratchy a little bit, snobbing here. So you'll just have to ignore me tonight.
And we've had some smoke from our friends in Canada.
Thank you, Canadians, for sending your holy smoke to Tennessee. But between the clouds and the smoke, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But the allergies have been, I believe, worse this year than any I can remember.
Several people have said
Yeah.
that this year. Wonder
Yeah.
why that is.
I don't
A
know.
mild winter, maybe?
Well, I don't
It
know.
wasn't all that bad.
Could
so,
be.
I don't know, but the smoke, the smoke it gets to you even when you can't see it, but it does make pretty sunsets.
Oh, yes.
Those colors.
Beautiful purple and red sunsets.
Mm-hmm.
That is
and
true.
we are a full moon today.
Yeah, we're
tonight.
at the full, what is it? Strawberry moon?
Strawberry moon.
Strawberry
yes.
moon.
Yeah, that is tonight.
Okay.
So when you
Hey,
finish
maybe it's
up,
going to clear off.
maybe
we can-
when you finish up here, maybe you can go take a look at the moon.
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
right. That's right. All right.
So we're right, and then here in just a few days will be the first official day of summer,
Yeah,
like the 21st,
yeah.
somewhere around in
And
there.
then when are we having our movie day?
Our movie day is Thursday. You had to ask me that, didn't you?
19th?
Hold on here. Let me get my calendar up. Thursday the 26th.
Oh, 26th.
But we've got somebody at the door real quick.
Oh, we do?
I'll
Okay.
be right back. We'll block that out.
Good.
Sorry about that, folks.
Good.
We are expecting someone to come by and pick up a letter that they had requested, and we want to make sure that we get that to them
Yes.
because it's something very important. But anyway, our movie day is coming up. Like I said, it's Thursday the 26th,
Okay.
and that will be here before you know. And we did announce it last week on Thursday that we're doing Flywheel.
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 Several people said that it's a really good movie. So.
It's a very good movie. It's I hope that it's a good a movie to everyone else as it was to me. I was thinking about how important that movie was. I know most people have seen Facing the Giants, the football movie.
Yes.
And that movie had came out about the time that I was really kind of starting to make a turn in my life and started going to church,
Okay.
for the first time ever. And when you bought Facing the Giants, the DVD at Walmart, Flywheel was free.
Oh,
You
okay.
could get it with free.
Bonus.
Yeah. And I loved Facing the Giants. I mean, just an amazing film.
Yes.
And that may be one of our movies coming up soon because a lot of people have mentioned that. But there was just something about the simplicity of Flywheel and about the dad who just, he was money focused and money driven and success driven. And that will get you nowhere.
Yeah.
And he realized that, and the pivotal point in the movie is he sells a car. He's a used car salesman, and he sells a car to the pastor of their church.
Oh.
And he doesn't give him a good deal. He actually ripped him pretty good on the car, and it was for the pastor's daughter. And the pastor thought he was really getting a good deal. And as he said, Jay, I want to tell you, thank you so much for taking care of me today. And I want to pray for you and your business before I leave. And he said, well, great. I'd appreciate that. And he prays, God, I pray that you treat Jay just as he's treated me today. And you see him kind of look up and open his eyes. But, it's a really good film. There's several different areas that are going on in the movie. So I look forward to being able to show that one.
Okay,
and
great.
We've been averaging about 50 people on the,
Yes.
Folks, I apologize for this, but this is...
Is that your house?
That's somebody else.
Oh.
No, that's here.
Oh,
but
that's here.
No, sorry.
Okay.
But anyway, we wouldn't be doing this if this wasn't a very
It's one of
good-
those days, and my nose is dripping, so y'all just have to look over me.
It's all right. you
Get
you
rid
ne-
of some of it. We
you
may as well
never-
just let it all roll today.
You
right?
never know what you're going to get when you
That's
tune
right.
in. But the people who've been watching us long enough, they know that.
You just never know what you're going to get.
So anyway, join us Thursday, the 26th, 2:00. Come early, get a good seat,
Yes.
get you some chef's pizza, some popcorn, snacks,
Yeah.
cold drinks, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So come and join us if you are able. We would
Yeah.
love to have you.
We enjoy
And
that.
Tell people about it too, because we've always this will be our fourth movie that we've done, and we always have people that we have never met before
Yes.
that attend this. So there's a Facebook post from last week, and we'll be sharing it more as we get closer. So make sure you hit that share button
Yes.
and let people know that this is what we're doing, because this is a great thing.
Yeah, it
It's you set up in the booth with me.
Uh-huh.
In the upper room, for the last movie, best seat in the house,
It
no
is.
doubt about it.
Don't tell everybody.
And you go, you got to have special permission. They got to know the
I
password.
have box seats.
Yeah. But it's good to be up there and to look down and see everybody enjoying the movie, enjoying the time together, and everybody just seems so engaged. And you think about why movies are so popular and always have been. It's an escape. It's
Yeah,
a
it
2
is.
hour an escape from reality, and I can't think of anyone who needs it more than some of the folks that we work with every day. And this gives
And
them
it's
the
always
time.
good to see them come
Yeah,
in. I mean,
yeah,
they truly,
it is.
they know that they're welcome here and they
Yes.
can come in and
Yeah.
And I've watched a few of them just come in and sleep through the movie.
Mhm.
But it's a safe place.
And that's okay.
And that's
too.
okay.
That's all
we
right.
wouldn't dare let it be any other
Right.
way.
That's right.
Yep.
So anyway, and but we had a good service this week. We were a little bit down in
Yes.
attendance. I think the rainy weather maybe kept some folks away.
Well, and the people here, there's a pretty good parking, walking at a distance, and the way those showers are just kind of dropping out on you without any warning. I think that kind of kept a few people at bay.
I think so.
And then we had, there's just a lot of stuff going on this past weekend.
Yeah, there was evidently some kind of festival
Yeah.
or something this weekend. So,
Well, I heard of something that I hadn't heard before. Some of the folks were leaving with some of the young people. They said, we're going down on Broad Street to the Cat Cafe.
yeah,
And
I've
I
heard
think they
about
said
that.
there's going to be 13 cats. And I guess you just go in and eat and play with cats.
Play with cats.
Well, that you all that love cats, you go at it and enjoy it. But I will not be participating.
I don't know that I would want to have a dog cafe
Our dog
as much as
cafe,
I love dogs.
or we have a turtle cafe.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
No, that's okay. It takes all kinds of things for all kinds of people. And I hope y'all did have a great time, you that went to the Cat Cafe.
Yep. But if you weren't here, you did miss a great service.
Well, how many have
Really
we
good
had
message.
for this week?
38,000.
Well, okay.
And I want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pulled some numbers from Facebook this week just to kind of see where we're at with the people that are viewing us. I love to look into this, but I got some surprising numbers.
Okay, let's hear it.
Normally, Tennessee is number one in the most people that view us, and Virginia is a close second.
Okay.
But Tennessee and Virginia folks, you all have got some competition.
Wow.
Because the number one, and I'm going to just tell you the states in order from number one. Number one was Texas.
Texas.
We had the most views in Texas.
Does it tell you how many?
About 2,000.
2,000
Texas.
people in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Georgia was about 1,500.
Now, was that the second one?
The second. Number 3 was Alabama,
Alabama.
which is about the same. Number 4 was Florida, about the same. Number 2. Number 5 is Ohio. And then number 6, here comes Tennessee at almost 1,200 people.
Huh.
And we've got, so I'm just going to go down the list: California, Kentucky, Mississippi, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Illinois, South Carolina, Michigan, Virginia, Nebraska, Massachusetts, Maine, Idaho, South Dakota, Nevada, North Dakota, Montana, Connecticut, New Mexico, Alaska, Hawaii, New Hampshire, Utah, Delaware, Vermont, Rhode Island, Wyoming, and the list just goes on. West Virginia, Iowa, Wisconsin, Kansas, Arizona, Maryland, Washington, New Jersey, Colorado, and Oregon.
Well, I think
So
almost every state was represented.
we had at least one person watching us from those states this past
Wow.
week. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Welcome,
And,
welcome.
Yeah, I mean, just so huge to
That
be
is
able to
amazing.
reach. Even with all the downsides and stuff of social media,
Right.
this is such a positive thing.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of churches utilize this now since COVID, when they had to, and had to really kind of learn how to live stream, learn the importance of social media. Thankfully, we already had kind of figured that out a bit,
Right.
and had been doing that for a while. And it was, we were talking about downloading the videos from Facebook, the Facebook library. Which a lot of them have gone away. There are still some there. I guess they're deleting them in phases. But it was so good to go through those videos. And I know I've said that before, but I want to say it again. It was just so great to go back and see things, because if you've got that many services, there was 659 videos. Not all of those were services, because there's the Will and Jimmy Show, the midweek message, Bible studies, funerals,
Right.
special Friday night. Man, we've done a lot of Friday night
Yes,
lives,
we
you
We need to do that again.
and just all of that. But going back and watching those, there's no way you could remember all that in your mind. But just going back and looking at some of these and watching that and just remembering something special about that day, or about that service, or about that song that somebody sang that I had completely
Right.
forgot about. My heart was so warmed. And by watching that, and somebody asked me the other day, well, how can we go back and watch those now? So the plan is, and it's going to take some time, but those will be eventually on YouTube.
Okay.
They're going to be, but it's going to take some time.
So they can't be on Facebook anymore.
No.
Not even in our format.
Right. Once they're gone, they're gone. Now when and how it's going to be from going forward, like tonight's show is good for 30 days. That's just somebody walking. That's not
Okay.
anybody pushing a button. It's good for 30 days, and then
Okay.
they will delete it. And I hate that it is that way, but I kind of
Well-
understand it too. I mean, you just think of all the churches, just say in Tennessee,
Yeah.
in our region, that use Facebook for their virtual congregation, for their
Right.
live streaming. All those videos backed up. That takes up a
Yeah.
lot of
Oh, yeah.
space. And because it seemed like I would download 100 videos and my little hard drive was full.
Yeah.
I had to switch to another one and switch to another one. But I'm just thankful we were able to do that. It was a big relief on
Yeah.
Friday of last week. About 7 o'clock Friday evening last week, I finished the last one.
And they
And
raced at midnight.
Started a race on midnight.
Wow.
And I even went back and spent about an hour and just looked by year just to make sure there was nothing that was missed, and everything was there. Now there were a few that couldn't download. I don't know why they were giving me errors, but I would say we have a good 95% of everything.
Well, what day was it? Monday? Or when did the guy come in?
Monday.
Monday.
Yes. Yeah.
Came in and asked about a funeral for.
his mother.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that's right. And he was in jail
Hmm.
5 years ago, and he said, "I'd like to watch my mom's funeral."
He said his family was supposed to have saved him a DVD, and
Right.
they didn't.
Right.
They'd given them all out, and sure enough, we have
Yeah.
it. I was able to go back and look, and I'm going to get him a copy of that.
And that's
And-
exactly one of the reasons you did what you did.
Mhm. Yes.
You knew that would
Because
happen.
and going through that and seeing the funerals and remembering the names of
Right.
not that we've forgotten the people at all, but
Right.
just there's so many of them. You just yes, I remember something specific about that service, and there was one. I know you'll remember this.
Okay.
This lady passed away, and her best friend was in a wheelchair, and she wanted to get up at the end of the service and say something about her friend.
Yeah.
And the son took the microphone over to her, and she was talking about her, and she said, "And when this funeral is over,"
Oh yeah.
she said, "I'm going to the bar and I'm having a beer for you, Debbie."
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Nowhere else but Shades of Grace.
It was so great.
Yeah.
That was just perfect.
And she was
Just
perfect. Heartfelt, sincere.
Absolutely,
She
was.
loved her friend.
Yeah, and
I
her
remember
maybe
that.
her cold beer too, as she
Yeah,
said.
I remember
But that was something they shared together, and she was honoring her friend,
Yeah.
and it was great. And a lot of if that would have happened maybe somewhere else, that might have been frowned upon.
Right.
But everybody here understood exactly
of
what
course.
she was saying, and that was very special.
We come from a different culture here at Shades of Grace,
Yeah.
and really a whole different kind of DNA to the congregation. Really.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. But it was good that he did the gentleman that did come in on Monday to be able to say yes, we have that, and it made me feel even better
Yes, that you
that
had
we
done
did that, made that a priority to get that
Exactly.
done. Because those kind of things, you've got one shot.
So does he
You know, to
already
do
have
that.
his copy now?
Not yet. No, that was just yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
I told him to see me at the beginning of the week,
Right.
and but that was important. That was from 2020.
He said 5 years.
Yeah, so it was back pretty good ways.
Yeah, I looked up at the office door and you all were busy, and he was standing there, and he said, "Hey, Pastor Will, do you remember me?" How many times did we hear that question?
Yes.
And I could not call his name, but I certainly remembered him. And he said, "Well, I've been away for 5 years, and you all did Mom's funeral while I was in jail." So
Yep.
that's a blessing to be able to have that for them.
to share that
Yeah.
with them, and it's been 6 months ago or longer. I figured out how many funeral DVDs we have done that I had done since we've been doing them.
Okay.
And it was 550 some DVDs.
Wow.
And that's at no cost to the family. That's just an extra little thing.
Right.
And now, people are kind of getting away from the DVDs. Because nobody has DVD players anymore.
That's right.
If you go buy a new computer, chances are it doesn't have a disc
Cars
player.
don't have them.
Right.
So
So we put them on thumb drives now.
yeah.
And I've got a nice little bag that they go in, and it zips up, and therefore you don't lose them, and just kind of make it important.
That's the world we're living in, and times change and things change. And
They do.
I'm so thankful that you're doing what you are to keep up with the times.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, we've our friend Ray Mullins
Yes.
was in here a few weeks ago, and Ray helped build the stage that we have now.
yeah,
The platform where the piano would land, and the piano and the choir
Right.
sings from, and that wasn't always there. Before it was probably a 16-inch little platform of two
plywood
floors
and
of
it kind of
plywood
bounce up
and
and down.
multicolored rugs,
Yeah.
just whatever,
Yeah.
But it just made me think how far we have come
Right.
since those days. And if we hadn't done that, we hadn't kept up with it, we wouldn't be able to reach
Right.
people in Hawaii.
That's right. And our original purpose when we came into this building was to keep it simple, keep the decor plain, and nothing that's going to be mighty and fancy that people are going to feel threatened
Right.
to coming off the street. And certainly that's the case. We've maintained that atmosphere.
But beautiful.
But it's
don't-
good enough for anybody. Really, it's good enough for anyone to feel comfortable.
I don't know what people who haven't been here a lot of times what they expect it to look like, but they always come in and look around. Well, this is not what I expected. You
Yeah.
know? But we do keep it neat and clean and
Yeah.
presentable, and it's God's living
Well,
room.
you know, this building just on the floor that we're on now, the downstairs is 6,000 square feet.
Yeah,
And another
Yeah.
1,000 feet, I believe, upstairs in the laundry room and the rooms we have up there.
yeah,
And so, what I love is the open rafters and the brick walls all the way around. And you
Yes.
know, people really
Yes.
seek after that now.
that's the thing.
That's
now.
that's the hot item now.
Mhm.
So when people come in, we're right in style.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. We have. I mean, even though we've updated and kept with the flow of the times, you're right. We've kept it simple. Don't want to get out of our league.
right? That's it.
Stay in our lane.
Right.
As we say, stay in our lane.
Stay in our lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Who was it I met the other day? I ran into someone in Johnson City. Hey, Pastor Will, nothing. I said, you know, I'm sorry, I don't remember you. He said, well, I'm with the Lions Club. I'm at your church every month, and you talk to me when we're. I said, oh yeah, I don't remember your name, but I do know your face. But I said, you're out of your environment. I usually see you at Shades with the folks, and here you are in a whole different environment. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
that's life.
And the Lions Club are provided meals today. Speaking of
Okay,
them,
all right.
they do
Thank
a lot for us and a lot for the community. And but you're right. Something about the building I was thinking just as you were talking. That many square feet of a building, but there's not a single one that's not used.
There's no
for some
room.
purpose.
I mean, we really could use this much more space.
Yeah.
You know, when we first came in this building almost 12 years ago, and walked in, and it was dust covered and paper over the windows, and you know, when I first came in, I could hardly breathe because the dust was
Right.
strong. And I thought, what in the world will we ever do with this much space? I mean, that was my thought.
Yeah.
And since then, I think, Lord, thank you for all this space, because only eternity can reveal the things that have happened good in people's lives in this building.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And in the videos, there was a lot of the building right as it was just forming into Shades of Grace. There was even one video where the contractors were here digging up the concrete to put
Okay.
the drains in for the
Yes.
showers and the bathrooms.
Yes.
And,
Well, you know, we had to redo the entire drain lines from the bathrooms all the way into the street. That this whole floor had to be dug up this deep under the concrete floor. So it was a mess for a while.
and you can still see some of those areas.
Yeah.
But that's just history.
You could see the
That's why they used to-
discolored cement where they put the different cement. But yeah, I wouldn't trade a thing.
And then several of the early services, that was long before the TVs, the screens were
Yes.
up, the cross wasn't up, the windows were not up there,
Right.
the colored glass windows, stained glass.
Those
I guess you
came
could
from Asbury, what's it called, up on Bloomingdale.
say. Like the assisted living or
Yes,
nursing home.
yes.
Yeah.
And our friend Laura was working there as activity director, and she was able to secure those for us. They had moved, they changed around, I guess, maybe sold the business to a different owner, and they took down that beautiful stained glass and just kind of had it setting. And she interceded on behalf of her church, Shades of Grace, and she said, "What would it take to get those?" They said, "Put them in your car." So
there
thank
they
you,
are.
Laura. If
Yeah.
you're watching, we miss you. We haven't seen you for a little while,
Been a while. Yes, it has.
but we enjoy that. Thank you so much.
And let's see what else we got going on. The conference just finished up
Yes.
last week. The
Lake
Folsom
Juneau, Alaska.
Conference.
Juneau, Alaska.
Juneau, Alaska,
Yeah.
right? And
Speaking of Alaska, I think Terry is back from his journey to
Is he back?
Alaska.
Okay.
Yeah. I've not talked to
Okay.
him, but he's been in low profile and
Yeah.
probably jet lag.
oh, I'm sure
Yeah.
that would be some major.
But hey, Terry, if you're back, welcome back. I know he did take one picture with the Will and Jimmy shirt.
yeah, yeah.
While
I,
he was
well, I
in
saw a
Alaska.
couple.
Did you?
Two or
Yeah.
three. So we appreciate that.
Well, he'd sent me one
yeah,
wearing the shirt. So thank you, Terry. That will go in our special archives
it will.
and show up when you least expect it.
Yes, that's right.
Now, let's see,
And-
Jimmy,
yeah.
something else is coming up this Saturday or Sunday. Father's
Well,
Day.
It is. Oh, yeah, that's true. It is, isn't it? That's right.
Your family got you taken care of.
They better.
Y'all heard that?
Oh,
didn't
I'm
you?
sure they've got something
Yeah.
planned.
But we want to wish all the
Yeah.
guys Happy Father's Day out there. We may not get an opportunity to share that with you, but we're grateful for all of you. And we had Mother's Day last month,
Yeah.
so I
And
guess
then
it comes
um,
full circle.
we have a special event going on Saturday morning too. You talked about that last Saturday about Uzoma. And
Yes.
we don't know the details of that yet, but we're working on that now as we speak. I'm sorry, folks, about my phone. I normally have that turned off, but
That's all right.
we're listening for that doorbell to ring.
Yeah, Uzama is going to be graduating from, I'm not sure, I don't know all the details, but she has chosen to walk across the Shades of Grace stage to receive her diploma here with her church family. And then she has catered a meal, Nigerian style,
Right.
to the entire congregation. And she has invited a lot of her friends from the Nigerian community. And you know, they're here every year in November, and we've gotten to know a lot of them. Aren't they some great people?
Oh, yeah.
Just
absolutely.
loving and
Yes.
sweet people. So we look forward to that this Saturday. Now, our worship is going to be just our regular, normal Saturday morning worship like we do every week. But then, following that, we're going to have a meal, and she's catering that Nigerian style. And then after the meal, we're going to have the graduation service with walking across the stage.
It's
So
exciting.
sounds like it's
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
great. We don't have all the details, but we'll have it ironed out for you.
Well, we hope.
Yeah.
We hope we will.
Or else
we
we'll
try.
just fly by the seat of our pants and wing it.
You never know. I don't know. It seems like we don't do an order of service.
Right.
And it seems like that any time that we ever do try to be formal and we make an order of service, it never goes
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Never does. It never, never. So
Yeah.
there's no reason to even try.
No.
You just lead
Well, you know,
by
I've
the Spirit and go.
I've had several people tell me they've gone to other churches and worship other places. And the thing, you know, that they love more than anything else about Shades of Grace, there's no bulletins.
Yeah.
Someone told me at one church they participate in that everyone has to follow the bulletin word for word, cross the T, dot the I, right on the minute, and if it doesn't happen, they get upset. It's got to follow. I mean, they wouldn't make room for anything extra to happen, and
Right.
we make room for just whatever
Whatever
the Lord wants
happens.
to do. But it's going to be good.
I used to play guitar at a church, and they were very much like that. And when I was still kind of new there, the music director said to me, "Okay, after she stops singing this song, you start the next song with your guitar. You have 3 seconds." And I said, "Okay."
3
He-
seconds to start.
Yeah, he said, "No, seriously. Once she stops singing, you have 3 seconds to start." I was like, "Oh." And he was like dead set serious about it. Talking about making me nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I was fine before, but I was like, I've got 3 seconds. This is pressure, but
Well,
whatever.
I've been in 2 Methodist churches over the last 15 years that I have been invited to speak on Sunday mornings. This has been way back before the pandemic. But in only 2 of all the churches that I've spoken in did I have that kind of instruction given to me, and they gave me a sheet of paper, and they had it down to seconds and minutes
Yeah.
as to what everything's going to be. And they wanted to go through it all with me before the service started. You know, you got 20 seconds here, 30 seconds here, 2 minutes here, blah, blah, and your sermon will last so many minutes and so many seconds. I thought, Lord, get me out of this place. I won't be back.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they'd even give God time to do anything.
No. How would, I mean, how many times have you been doing a message or had a message prepared, and before the service or even during the service, God gave you something
yeah.
else? And you said,
Just go
well,
with
I
the
have
flow.
some notes here, but
Yeah.
just going to throw these aside. And I will tell you, like, when you have done that, that has been some of the best
services,
messages,
yeah.
best services that we've ever had.
Yeah.
And we hear that from folks because they like that. You know,
Right.
that a lot of it is maybe something has happened here during the week, with someone we know or someone we've met,
Right.
a situation, and you share that.
Right.
People really like to hear that.
Yeah, they do.
You know, and
Yeah.
well, you've wrote 2 books about it.
Yeah,
already. You
Well,
know?
I did not dream that I would be doing those first 2 books. I didn't. And I've already almost persuaded myself or been persuaded by the Lord to do a 3rd book, Music from God's Living Room. And if I can get everyone, maybe looking back in your old files that you've just uploaded and recorded, will remind me of a lot of people that have been long gone
Oh yeah.
who have sung here
Yeah.
and the stories about them. And we could do it. We could do a book titled Songs from God's Living Room.
So I mean, especially prior to COVID.
Yes.
There were so many different people who would share, and people who are not with us or we don't know
Right.
where they are. But one that I did watch was Bill that would sing an a cappella song, wore a tie.
Bill Ferguson.
That's yeah.
He was a veteran.
And
yes. We've not seen him in many years.
It's been a long time.
Yes.
And but it was good. I mean, he sang almost every Sunday.
Yes. I
He
remember
did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
That was just one of many. But I think
Well, let's
it's a
see.
great
There
idea.
was Johnny Nash. There was Paul, who was from the veterans, from the VA. I'm sorry, for the Salvation Army, but was a veteran. There was Johnny, the young man who sang just a couple of times here, dressed impeccably. Just didn't look like he fit into the streets at all. And he actually wasn't homeless, but had been homeless. And he sang that song, praise him in the storm.
Praising in the storm. Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And he had a scar right here where he had been shot and missed his artery by just a millisecond. And, the testimony. So there's so many stories of people. Then when we began, there was Tabitha and Justin
Yes, right.
who led the music. And if I'm not mistaken, after that, when they stepped aside, who stepped in? Do you remember?
Would have been Kathy.
May have been Kathy.
Yeah, that played piano.
She played the piano for a good while with us. And then there was Miss Bell who came along. And her son Billy has written music and played.
Yeah.
And then there was Landon who has come. And you just think of all the people who not only have played instruments, but who have sung. So how many of you all would enjoy a 3rd book to go along? Would you call that a trilogy?
Yeah, that would be a trilogy. Yeah.
This will be the 3rd book if I can decide to get started with it. Get all my ducks in a row. I can't even find most of my ducks. But if I can get all my little Jesuses in a row, then he'll help me to do that. But how many of you would like for us to do a 3rd book on the songs from God's living room? There's even one that I wrote.
Right.
Woke up in the middle of the night and the words were just rolling through my mind. I grabbed my cell phone and just put it on the tablet really quick and then went back to sleep. And if I'd waited, it would have all been gone.
Right.
And then I brought it back that week to the church, and Paul, the guy we're talking about, I think he's in Texas now. I said, Paul, and he's a good guitar player, reminds me of Randy Travis.
Yep. Yeah.
And I said, he put it to music
He did.
within that week, and we've got that on a video. Let's see, what's it called? God's Living Room?
God's Living Room. I think that's what it's called, God's Living Room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just so many great songs and
Right.
testimonies through songs.
Right.
And each one of those, I'm sure as you go back and watch that,
Right.
you'll remember the story associated with that person.
Right.
That was, just, and there are people, I don't want to mention names, but there are people who used to play instruments here and sing back in these times that are not having those good days now.
Right.
that we
True.
see on the streets.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
we pray that, someday
That music
can
will help
return.
build them again.
and because there is power in music.
Yes, there is.
Absolutely there is.
Yes.
And but just so many people, like let's see, gosh, I just had one on the tip of my tongue that it's done left me, one of the
Yeah.
videos that I watched. But Oscar and Hello
Oh, yeah,
Stranger,
there-
Dale
yeah.
and Teresa, they were here often.
Yeah.
And
There's David Francis.
yeah.
There's
and then we had
Mick Kite.
we had kind of a Shades of Grace impromptu choir
Yes.
years ago,
Yeah.
and that would have included Kathy and
Yeah.
our friend Sandy Brown,
Yeah.
Bob Langford,
Even Kellen and Joe
Kellen and Joe were in
were
that.
on that choir.
And,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh gosh, Doug that played the guitar and sang. He's passed away.
Oh,
now.
he passed away.
passed
Yes,
away.
he did.
Yep.
During COVID,
And,
a young man.
Yep.
Yes.
Had such a great talent,
Yes.
such a great voice.
Yes,
and,
I've forgotten
and
about
then
him.
the little Ray, they had the long hair, kind of salt and pepper hair, and almost like the crippled hands. Do you remember?
I do
him?
remember him.
And he
Yeah.
would get up and sing ever
Yes.
so often.
Yeah.
I remember he wrote it. He couldn't, obviously he couldn't play an instrument
Yeah.
with his hands, but he wrote a song, "Have You Ever Seen a Rainbow?"
Oh, my.
I don't know how I remember that,
Wow.
but "Have You Ever Seen a Rainbow?" And he sang it for us. And
Well, I think I've got the news that we will have a third book.
there you go.
And I just got this
Confirmation.
text from Pastor Mary Louise.
Okay.
Used to be at Emmanuel. I told you earlier we prayed for her today. She was going to have a, whatever it's called, a cardioversion to put her heart back into rhythm this morning in Boone at the hospital. And so she just sent a text and said it worked.
Hey, praise God. For
So
that.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank the Lord. For those of you who know Pastor Mary Louise, you didn't even know that she was going through that for the last 2 months. But we're glad it worked, and you'll be feeling so much better.
That's good.
That's good news.
Maybe pay us a visit here soon.
Yes.
Be a special guest.
Yes. On the Will and Jimmy Show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we would love to
The
have her.
next time she comes over, we need to do that.
Yep, we sure do. That would be great.
Yeah.
Let's see. And what else? And we probably need to talk about that the end of the month, beginning of July, we are going to take a little bit of time
Yeah.
off.
Yes.
The week of July the 4th, we're not going to be here. But we will still have the Will and Jimmy Show.
Yes, we will.
And they don't know it yet, but we're going to have some very special
They don't
guests
know it, and it's going to be
filling
very
in for
special
us.
when they find out they're going to be
When
doing
they
it.
find out we've done elected you both, you'll be finding out very
Well,
soon.
could I say it's a captain and a co-captain?
Sure.
We'll see how that
Yeah.
works out. But we are going to be closed that whole week. And just everybody a heads up right now, the whole building is going to rest. And we're going to change the code on the door so nobody can come in during the week. Because then when we do that, some of us who didn't take the break have been here and then they're worn out. And then we who did take the break are worn out because they're worn out. So so we're all going to take a break.
That's a perfect way to explain it.
So
But everything,
Yeah.
the buildings just need a rest.
Yeah, the
Everything
building,
needs a rest. And
I don't know what the fish and the turtles are going to do, but
we'll
they'll
have to figure
hibernate.
out- we might have to get a
They'll hibernate.
sitter or something for
Yeah.
them, maybe.
Well, we'll take care of that.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
But that's going to be in just about a little over 3 weeks.
So that'll
from
be
now.
the 30th, Monday the 30th through
yeah.
Friday the 4th. But of course,
Yes.
if somebody asked me today, well, will you still be having church? Of course.
Yes.
We will be.
We don't cancel church on Saturday. That's
No.
we don't do that.
So we will be here Saturday before and the Saturday after.
Yeah.
No Bible study that week.
Right. That's true.
But we will have church. So
We need to let Dr. Smitty and Regina know that this week that we will not be having
Yes.
Bible study
yes,
on the week of July the 4th, which most places are going to be closed anyway.
the short weeks and
Yeah.
shorter days and all that. A lot of stuff going on. And I think with the 4th being on Friday this year, there'll
Yes.
probably be a lot more festivities going on. One of the towns is having a 4th of July parade for the first time
Oh, yeah.
in many years. I read in the paper the other day, I can't remember which one, but
Well,
Kingsport always has one. And So that's good.
And
It's
then
a good
coming
time.
up in July, next month, can you say next month or July? Is usually the Fun Fest. Have we heard
Sun
anything about
Fest.
that?
Yeah, it's been announced.
Okay. So
and
there's just a lot going on, and summer is going to be here and gone before we turn around. So get out and enjoy it.
we do our Fun Fest part at the very beginning with the parade. That has
Yes.
become a great
Yeah.
evening. We set up and give out waters and snacks and put chairs out here in front of our
And if
church
it's really
buildings.
hot, people who can't handle the heat can set chairs inside the building and look out through our large plate glass windows and view the parade.
And the good thing is about our location in that time of year, the parade starts at like 6, but we're kind of on the end. So it doesn't get by here for 30 or 45
Yeah.
minutes. And by the time that the parade gets by us, the sun has went
Was that
behind
our
the buildings.
doorbell?
No, that
No,
was
I
just
thought I heard it.
that was
Okay.
an email.
Oh, okay.
The sun has went behind the buildings.
Yeah.
So we have a perfect view. It's cooled down.
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, everybody had set up, and it was pretty early prior to the parade, but a pop-up storm came, and
Everybody was singing showers of blessings.
I think CJ was out there, and his family and
Yeah.
all, and boy, everybody had to move quick. Because it really, it was a downpour, real heavy winds blowing everything around. But then within 30 minutes, you couldn't even tell it had rained. You know, those summertime storms. So, but we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Very much looking
By
forward.
the way, CJ will be going to camp next week.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. It'll
so-
be on. It'll be this Sunday.
Yeah.
It goes this Sunday, and he's going to the senior. I think it's called the Senior High Adventure. That's the thing that he's
Yeah.
going on, which is swimming, climbing, canoeing, caving,
The
a
whole
little bit
bit
of everything.
Yeah.
So that's going
Well,
to be
I'm excited, and
Yeah.
we're glad that he's able to go.
Yeah.
Thankful that our church could sponsor that. And you know, I did see something else, Jimmy, that maybe our friends downtown would be interested. I don't have the details, but the table at Gibson Mill Road is having a day camp, vacation Bible school,
Okay.
or
I
summer
didn't see
camp,
that. Okay.
like a day camp
Okay. Yeah.
for the whole community. So that's a little bit later on in the
Well,
next
if
few
I'll
weeks.
look that up, we'll share
So,
that.
yeah. And there's no charge for that too. So
That's good.
from what I
That's
understand,
very good.
so there's lots of opportunities.
Just have to look and find it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
That's it. Well, I didn't. I'm slacking today.
No questions.
I didn't do any questions. We had a busy afternoon today. Well, we had a busy
The
day.
whole day and
Yeah.
yesterday. I mean, it's really just you have to be here hours on end. You can't just be here 30 minutes and see what's going on.
Right. But
You have to be here during the.
and I know, and we appreciate all of you. I know you pray for us in Shades of Grace, and I just ask that you pray also. We don't even have to mention names, but there's so many folks who are kind of new to the homeless situation or are about to be homeless.
Yes.
That are either on the verge of eviction
Right.
or are already living in a hotel, or people who are maybe, we hear that, we came to Kingsport thinking there were better opportunities in Kingsport than where I was from, and that's not necessarily true.
No.
And they get down here, they have no family, don't know the resources, and we had a young family come in yesterday, and it's a sad situation, but they're really trying, and they've been Ubering, like Uber Eats, like delivering
Yeah.
food
Oh, yeah.
to get some income to help pay for their hotel room.
Wow.
And that's been working, but as they left here yesterday, the car wouldn't start.
Yeah.
And you notice we took some tools out
Yes.
yesterday, and it was able to be started again, and they were back here today, so it's still running.
So y'all did get it running
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I told Jimmy take a hammer out there and just start beating on something.
Sometimes that works, but that is just one of many that are, like I said, that are new to this situation that we're working with right now.
Well, I know she was in tears thanking you for your help. I didn't know her.
Yeah, I'd never met her.
Never met her. So she have children.
She actually came in Saturday
Oh, did
after
she?
church.
Okay.
And then I believe she spoke with Eva And Eva spent some time with her and said, "Come back on Monday." They got her some food and stuff on Saturday to take for the children.
I remember Eva putting that post on.
And then she came back and talked to me.
Right.
Just a sweet, kind spirit.
Just kind of
and
thrust into a hard situation.
And doesn't know what to do.
Doesn't know what to do. I wouldn't know what to do.
No. And that's just, a lot of times in these situations, it's hard to find something to help her with. But we're going to work this week on some job applications. She found a place that she wanted to apply for. She went in and talked to them, and they said, "Oh, well, you have to do that online." And she said, "I'm not really good with online things. Can you help?" Of course. So that is on the plans for this week to help with that, because the Uber thing is not necessarily guaranteed income.
Right.
You know, if somebody places an order and you're the first one to click on your app and accept it, you know, then you can get paid, but it's just not a guaranteed income.
Right.
It's good for like people who maybe want it like extra, you know, a little extra money or something, but
not your primary source.
Not your income. So, but like I said, she's one of several that were like the gentleman that we're waiting for to come back and pick up the letter. He's another one.
Well, tell them what the letter's about, since we're.
So we've known him for a couple of years now, and he's I will say, I can say it for sure, he's cleaned up his act. And he's working. He's getting close to getting his own place again. But he has a very important probation meeting tomorrow, and this could all be over tomorrow. And like he can move forward with it and get that off of him. But he asked if we would write a letter just saying, you know, what you know about me.
Wow.
And I sat down and I just thought he has always been kind. He's been respectful. He's been thankful. He has never given us an issue ever. I remember one time we were out on the street and somebody was dropping off some clothing or some food. I can't remember which, but he jumped right in and helped. And the job he's probably had for about a year. And I see him walking with his work shirt on with the logo on it. And I see him, and if I see him out in town, I always speak to him. And I was more than happy to write that letter for him today.
Absolutely.
And I hope and pray that does, because the probation cycle, that's exactly what it is a cycle.
Yeah.
Either you can't get to the meetings because you don't have transportation, or you can't pay the fines because, I mean, you don't, it's hard enough living as it is. And if you don't go to the appointed time or you miss a payment, you know what happens. We see it all the time.
Well, I know I've been in the office working, and I'm a little bit listening to people who come and go. And I know to the constable today, and maybe someone else, we're in conversation about someone that we've known here who doesn't give any problems to anybody, but periodically on a regular basis we see his arrest warrant where he's been picked up and arrested and thrown into jail, and you don't even have to ask why, because the offense is always what?
Well, it's either criminal trespassing or violation of probation for the criminal trespassing.
That means criminal trespass means sleeping in public. The state of Tennessee, that's not a Kingsport law. That's an entire state law.
Yeah.
And they make it a felony if you're sleeping in a public place in the state of Tennessee.
It can be a felony, absolutely.
So, you know, and like I heard someone mention, one that we know all the time, who's very polite and kind and is always going to need someone to help him. He's never going to totally make it on his own.
Yeah.
But he mentioned the other day, well, where am I supposed to sleep? What am I supposed to do?
They said, well, I don't know, but you can't stay here.
Right.
You just move. Need to get your stuff and move on. So, and he is one of many that is in that cycle.
Yes.
You know, that vicious cycle.
If they were to go to the jail and see all of the people who have those types of infractions, I mean, just sleeping somewhere, and who I have to sleep. Do you have to sleep, Jimmy?
Absolutely, I do. Yes.
I don't lay my head at night without offering thanks to God, because that's something we take for granted. But what if you were thrust out here? This young man's parents died. His mama died. What is he, 30s? But he'll always need help surviving. And He said, "What am I supposed to do?"
In the way that he said it was,
Yeah, it was
just such a
it was-
childlike
Yeah,
way
like
that just would crush your heart
What am I supposed
by
to
listening
do?
to that when he asked that question, because it had just finished a big storm,
Yeah,
big evening thunderstorm with a lot of rain. Actually, I think I even sent you pictures that day of how flooded the street was.
yes,
And this was just a few minutes after that was over. And he said, he's, you need to pick your stuff up and move on your way.
yeah.
Well, where am I supposed to go?
And that was right in our front door at the church, and
Yeah.
right inside the alcove of our doors.
And a lot of people, the answer to that would be, well, what about the shelters? Why don't they go to the shelters? And this individual that we're talking about, he doesn't give us an issue, but I've seen him get frustrated. Understandably, wouldn't you be?
Right,
And sometimes that frustration, he doesn't know how to get that out. And
right.
I believe maybe that's got him banned from a place or two.
Yeah,
But he's never done that with us. Like I said, I've seen it. I've seen him get I don't even know that I would say angry. I guess frustrated would be
Right.
the right word.
and scared.
And right, and doesn't know what to do. And in that moment, he probably acts out a little bit. But
Yeah,
one day back in the winter, do you remember he came here and sat down and talked to us? And he really needed somewhere to go to stay that night. And we did. We called all the places, and sure enough, he couldn't come back to any of them.
he was banned from all of them.
All of them.
And he's never given us a problem.
No.
So,
But I understand. There's got to be rules. There's got
Yeah.
to be guidelines and such.
Yeah.
But still, it just makes it hard when you. A lot of times, I feel helpless.
yeah.
Well,
Well, we do.
I want to be able to do something, but I just don't know what to do.
Right.
But I think what we do, in even those times when we can't help in that way, is we build those relationships.
Right.
We build that trust. We are kind, even in their worst moments. And
Even our worst moments,
right.
we make a point to try to be kind.
right. And they respect that.
Yes.
They respect us. And we're the go-to.
Yeah.
We are the go-to.
Well, I remember one time he got out of jail a year ago or more, had been gone a few months, and he came running in. Hey, I'm so happy to be home, and this is home. And he may pop in these doors 8 and 10 times a day. Can I get a bottle of water? Have you got a pack of crackers? Have you got? It's like a child at mom and daddy's house. It's like having eternal children who are never going to grow up. Isn't that true?
That's true. And either in the morning or when I get here, or in the afternoon when I leave, I hear him, but I can't see him. He'll say, "Good morning, Jimmy," and I can't. "Good morning. I can't see you."
Yeah,
And then the evenings he'll say, "Be careful."
yeah,
Yeah. And he's there watching somewhere.
yeah,
So, and I love him. He's a great friend of ours, and
yeah.
we do everything we can to help him.
That's it.
And he trusts us. He knows that we're not out to harm him. We're not going to do anything against
Right.
him in any way.
Right.
So, and that's what we do with him and so many others,
Yeah.
even when it is hard.
That's true.
Even when it is hard.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like you said, there are days when we are in that mood where they don't want to deal with us.
Yeah.
We're human, just like everybody else. And if everybody's honest, it happens to all of us.
It does.
We have our days where for me, the little junk,
Yeah.
the little things, is
Little
what
boxes.
will build up and just make me just want to explode.
Those little foxes are like little groundhogs. Either pet them and make pets out of them or kill them. I would advise going ahead and kill them.
Let's try to make a friend. Let's see how that turns out.
I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the groundhogs.
Let's try that.
They'll eat your gardens.
Well, folks, that's about it for
What time
tonight.
did we start?
I figured 2:30. I just remember saying about 2:30.
Well, we're at 2:27.
Here we are. Don't pay attention to the time. You're going to get confused because we're recording.
That's
this
right,
on
and we've
Tuesday.
had interruptions, and who knows what's going to come out on it.
Yeah. So anyway, but there's still work to be done today. We got
Yeah.
quite a bit to do to finish up, but we always make time to be here with you every Wednesday night. That
Yes.
is, we make that a priority. And I've said many times, this show always makes me feel better.
Yeah, it does.
Always.
It does.
Always. And then to watch it with everyone on Wednesday night
Right.
and see the comments and interaction from all of our friends,
Right.
all of you, warms my heart with gratitude more than I could ever say.
That's right, it does.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Earl came by this week and he said, I'm always watching. I don't say much. I don't comment, but I never miss anything.
We appreciate that.
So
Earl.
God bless you. I know a lot of you there, we don't want to start calling names, but God bless you all. It's so good to be
Yes,
with
it
you
is.
by means of social media.
Yep. that's
For the
right.
world famous Will and,
Jimmy Show.
or if you're all across the pond, the Jim and
Willie Show.
good night, everybody. God
Good
bless
night.
you.
We love you.
Talk to you real soon. I tell you, you don't know how many times while we're doing this, I've swallowed that